why is this happening? I'm seeing a big trend of people in different groups, different investment groups, who are becoming obsessed with like this tiny home thing. You saw Walmart is building tiny homes. They're getting into that space. Elon's getting into that space. There's already companies within the space. And these are just modular homes that are built off-site and shipped to you. So they'll build them in a factory in Canada or in Minnesota. Or they have these different factories all across the country and even outside of the country. They might build these things in Mexico, realistically, rural Mexico. And then they will ship them, put them on semi-trucks and just drive them to you. You would still need to put a concrete slab out. You would need to tap into the utilities. And there are a laundry list of zoning codes and requirements. Like you would realistically need a zoning attorney to be able to get one of these things through. And that's one of the problems with this trend that we'll talk about a little bit today. But their goal is to get you a cheap house. A lot of people are clearly going to look to this because of the affordable housing crisis. The affordable housing space is projected to double. The crisis will double by 2030. So double the amount of people are projected to need affordable housing, which kind of says something about where inflation is headed. If the World Economic Forum is projecting that, then they're projecting that we're going to have massive inflation. Which, if we're going to have massive inflation, you better own assets. If you just are a cash person, so if you're the average bear, you work your 9 to 5, you might have some stocks, but in like a 401k or IRA or something like that. But you mostly deal in cash. You deal with the cash you have in your bank account. You're not buying houses. You're not buying investment properties. You're preoccupied, maybe. So as inflation happens, you don't have anything that inflates with it because your salary, it ain't inflating with it. Rents will inflate with it. So if you're renting, you'll be screwed. If you're an owner and you have some properties and rents are increasing, you're going to get more money, more cash flow than you projected when you bought the deal. And rents are projected to continue to go up because prices will go up. And affordability will continue to be a problem. When affordability is a problem, it increases demand. So demand will continue to go up. This is why you want to be in the affordable housing space. Even Elon Musk is trying to get into affordable housing. So, and a lot of people are like, whatever Elon does, they're like, oh, it's the gospel. Like they want to go do it. Well, he's getting into the affordable housing space for a reason. That's where the money is. That's where the crisis is. Just understand those things. Some of the issues with tiny homes. The biggest issue is this non-conforming. So whenever you're building, and this applies to ground up deals and kind of all this stuff, you have to be conforming to the neighbors to the left and right of you. You might be able to take a tiny home, use it as an ADU all day, and that's a great play. But to take a tiny home and just pop it right next to a existing structure, somebody else who has a plot of land and they're conforming to the whole neighborhood, you're going to get a lot of pushback because you're going to be non-conforming. So a lot of these tiny homes are actually going to hit, I would say maybe like that mobile home type of market first, buying land that was zoned for mobile homes and then putting a bunch of tinies on there, on the land, because you already are tapped into some of the utilities there. That's where this will kind of fit, but it's not necessarily going to fit in the sense that you can do it in existing neighborhoods. I think you're going to have to recreate with these neighborhoods with this product instead of doing it in existing neighborhoods. There's way too much pushback on the regulatory end because there are all these micro trends. There's tiny homes. There's robots. So house printing robots that are being built in China where they can take concrete, they can mix it, and then there's a artificial intelligence component that's measuring the wind and the temperature and changing how the concrete is produced so that it will cure at a specific rate, and then going around on a conveyor belt and printing a house. But even that technology is too new, and the zoning boards will not approve it. They won't deal with it. They're like, it ain't ready. We don't want to do it. This is why I focus in the affordable housing space on existing structures. I want to build the existing inventory. It's already conforming. It's already tapped into the utilities, and it already has a structure, a shell that can be protected, reinforced, and then you can gut the interior. That's a safer play, more conservative play. This play, when this stuff hits, if it ever gets approved to go into certain areas of cities, we'll see what it does. But there are also buried costs. They might be able to build these right now for 10,000, but you can't build them, ship them. You can't tap them into utilities. You can't lay the foundation for 10. You have to put some money into that. So it's not something that's going to take over the game anytime soon, but it is something worth, in my opinion, investing in. And clearly, in Elon Musk's opinion, investing in. Here's another trend that is popping up. Multi-generational living is starting to go more mainstream. All of these things you'll notice are wrinkles on the affordable housing crisis. But multi-generational living. So if you're already doing things like co-living, which you guys know I teach you guys how to do. If you don't know co-living or how to do co-living, click one of the links in the description. Or if you're on IG, DM me Cashflow, tap into that free training. But co-living is like building multiple units within a house. This will fit very well with this micro trend of multi-generational living, where people are living with their parents, people are shacking up with family, brothers are living together. Like people are doing things to kind of share these costs, because it doesn't make sense for everybody in the family to go out and either rent or buy houses. Like everybody go out and buy an individual house. So mom and dad have 3 kids. Those 3 kids all go out. They all buy individual houses, individual cars, all these individual things, and strain themselves on an individual basis. They all have kind of less than if they, not that they would want to live together, but then if they teamed up, let's say if they did, because people did used to live like this centuries ago. People used to kind of focus more on family and taking care of the clan or kinsmanship. Taking all that money, putting it together, they could buy a freaking mansion. They could buy a 10,000 square foot property at the same payment that they're all collectively paying. They could get 3x the house, which is a lot. And that's an asset that would then go into trust and be passed down. So a lot of people are choosing this not only as a way of living, but a way of investing, a way of having assets within the family that can be passed down.